But I do want to say I was at one of the California Humanities events a number of years ago, and the theme was your California story. Tell your California story. And I had a chance to tell mine and talk about what I so enjoy talking about is my parents, their legacy, the influence they've had on me, my mom growing up in the Philippines, coming here on a ship for 3 weeks to arrive in California for the first time, meeting my father, who was involved in the civil rights movement, who marched in Selma and organized for civil rights, and then they went to the Philippines, and my sister was born, and then me, and they looked each other in the eye and asked themselves if they could raise us there at that time and guarantee that we had democracy and freedom and human rights and the rule of law. And their answer was no, not then, not there. A dictator was rising to power, martial law was around the corner. So they brought us to California, to LA in particular, and started working for the United Farm Workers of America. Started collecting signatures for the lettuce boycott outside of supermarkets in LA, and then moved us to La Paz, and that's where I spent some of my formative years as a young boy, as Andres referenced. And then one of the most lasting memories I have growing up in Sacramento, which is where we moved to after my parents finished their tour of duty with the UFW, is going with my mom to protests and rallies and demonstrations, speaking up and speaking out about the human rights abuses in the Philippines, literally an ocean away. And as a boy, I always wondered what we were doing, what it meant, how we could make a difference. And I realized, we did this year after year, and we did it for 14 years. And I realized that we weren't alone, that there were so many others like us across the United States, and growing voices and fighters in the Philippines. And in 1986, I realized what it was all for, as the People Power Revolution ushered democracy back into the Philippines and chased the dictator out of the country, never to return. And so grateful to be able to have shared that California story. We need to tell stories more often, especially now with the dialogue being what it is, being toxic and full of misinformation and disinformation and being dehumanizing. We need to remind ourselves of our inevitable human connection, our inescapable network of mutuality, our single garment of destiny, as Martin Luther King talked about. So this is what you do is such an important counterbalance to what's happening in the rest of the world, and I thank you for it. I was grateful to be able to help you secure $1 million. One of the first times that the state funded the Cal Humanities, and hopefully that continues and continued. And I now have a daughter who tells stories. She's a filmmaker in addition to being a professional soccer player. So sorry I had to say that second part because I'm a shameless dad bragger. And she made a film about her Lola, my mom, her grandma, and then another one about the Philippine women's national team's road to the World Cup, which she was a part of as a player in the 2023 season. So keep telling those stories, keep reminding us of our human connections. And I want to talk a little bit about the fact that as we exchange ideas and as we share information, technology can change, but that core commitment to telling those stories does not. And today's theme, how will the humanities revolutionize AI, is an important discussion. I'm glad California Humanities is bringing that forward. As the 5th largest economy in the world, we're obviously home to Silicon Valley, Silicon Beach, Biotech Beach, a seemingly endless list of innovative tech companies, large and small. California has a special interest in ensuring competition, innovation, technological advancements, including AI, can continue to flourish in our state. This technology, of course, has incredible, unlimited potential to revolutionize medicine, save lives, improve health, revolutionize government and business, to be a huge driver of economic activity here in the Bay Area and around the state and, of course, the nation. I believe in the technological and economic power of AI. I believe that we can cultivate and harness its power while also protecting California's people and environment at the same time. For me, the core principle that comes to mind, the core principles that come to mind are transparency and accountability. For example, the public should know when it's interacting with an AI system instead of a person. And And companies should be held accountable for their products and the outcomes of using these tools. All of California's existing laws apply to AI tools, just like they apply to everything else. Just because something is new or rapidly evolving doesn't mean it's above the law. Another important factor is privacy. People have rights to their own information and how it's used. And we know that AI, like so much of our tech economy, relies on significant natural resources. The companies that are generating these tools, building data centers, and deploying AI systems need to think, and I'm glad are thinking, about environmental impact, complying with California's laws and being accountable to shareholders and the public for their environmental impacts. We also need to be clear-eyed about the fact that AI is created by humans, which means our own implicit biases will inevitably inform the final product. We must do everything to limit bias in AI and the discriminatory outcomes that stem from it, including potentially disenfranchising people of color. Recognizing this reality is an important first step. The next is building in prevention measures, be it training or in the software or elsewhere. And finally, it's critical that property rights of artists, writers, and creators are protected. When AI models use data created by humans, it shouldn't alter the property or rights individuals have to their own work without their permission or fair compensation. AI is incredible, and we've only just scratched the surface of what it will be capable of in years to come. But let's be clear about one thing: AI cannot and will not replace human creativity or human heart. That is irreplaceable. In a perfect world where AI is applied in this capacity and equitable access is prioritized, it's clear how beneficial it could be for us all, for our society. So I'm excited about the possibilities of AI, not without its need for important guardrails and protections, but generally I support embracing technology and being clear-eyed about what we're dealing with and how we can capture the upside and guard against the downside. So I just want to end where I started, with a huge shout out to the humanities, the California Humanities. Thank you again for bringing us together, for all you do, you are doing, will do in the future. Congratulations on 50 incredible years. I'm honored to be a part of your community. Looking forward to 50 more. Thank you.